welcome to week 4. Week is all about celebrating your successes, because when you celebrate your success, is what keeps you motivated, even if they're just small successes. If you think about life, it is just a series of goals. When you're born, the first thing you have to do is learn how to walk, then talk, then learn to read and write. And then when you get into school, you're learning all those skills. In high school, you're learning to drive, then you get a job, you get married, you have kids. But when you get into your 30s and 40s and older, the number of new things that you do or new things that you learn diminishes. And that's often why it feels as if life is getting a little bit stale or a little bit boring as you get older. You just stop learning new things and doing new things for the first time. And the fewer new things you learn, the fewer new things that you do, the less brave you get and the fewer challenges you're prepared to take. But the more challenges you set for yourself and the more goals you have, the more interesting your life is going to be, which is why you started this challenge by creating that list of, I think it was 35 things on your Think Big list, because the harder a goal is to hit, the more you're going to learn and the more you're going to grow, and the better your life will be. So if challenging yourself with new goals keeps life interesting, and it's going to be something that you're going to do for the rest of your life, you need to learn how to enjoy goal setting and the process of working towards your goal. So how do you enjoy this process of goal setting? Because if you know you're going to be setting goals for the rest of your life, you need to be able to celebrate those successes, no matter how small, and you need to celebrate them frequently, because that is what's going to keep you motivated. But to be able to celebrate your achievement and celebrate those successes, you need to know if you have something to celebrate, which means you have to be able to track your progress to your goal. I did a lot of corporate training, and whenever we set goals in the corporate world, we learn the acronym SMART, which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely, or time-bound. I'm going to talk about each element specifically, but the easiest one to talk about right now is the timely or time-bound part. This challenge is 6 weeks, because when you have that time limit, it's enough time to allow you to achieve something, but it's also short enough that it focuses you on what you want to achieve in that 6 weeks. So that covers the timely part of a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely goal. So now let's dig a little deeper into your goal so that we can make sure that it's a SMART goal that you've set. Some goals are very easy to make SMART. So for example, if your goal is to run a 5K in 30 minutes by the end of this challenge, that's a very specific goal. And say you're currently running maybe a 40-minute 5K, you can track your progress each day or each run to see if you're getting faster, and you can post those times to track the progress to goal. If you're paying off debt or saving, you also have a specific amount that you're trying to pay off or you're trying to save, and you can track your progress towards that saving or that debt repayment goal. And as you see the progress, it motivates you. Same thing with a weight loss goal. It's very easy to make it specific and measurable, because you just track how much weight you're losing each day or each week. But for many goals, it's hard to know if you're successful, particularly if they're project-based. If I say I want my goal is to make my house tidier, if I pick up the counter in the kitchen, have I achieved my goal? Not necessarily. That one area of my house is tidier, but have I achieved my long-term goal of making my whole house tidier? Not really, because I've not been specific enough. The same thing, a lot of you joined this challenge because you just want to be more organized. Again, that's very unspecific. If you plan a doctor's appointment for 9 a.m. tomorrow, are you more organized? So you have to set a very specific goal to be able to measure your progress. So we're going to talk about the specific and measurable part of a SMART goal in a little more detail here. Using that example of saying, I want to be more organized, you have to define what that means. So you have to say, I will consider myself an organized person if I do a mind flush at the beginning of every month and I list everything that I need to get done this month. And then I will schedule my top 3 tasks every morning when I drink my coffee, and I will complete them when I plan to do them. Then if you do everything that you planned, you have become your definition of an organized person. And you celebrate every time you complete those 3 tasks when you planned. If you're doing a project-based goal, so I was talking with a lady this weekend, and her goal is to be organized for Christmas. Well, again, that's very kind of unspecific. So if your goal is to be more organized for Christmas, you have to list out everything you need to do in order to consider having achieved your goal. So for example, who are you buying gifts for? What are you going to buy them? When are you going to buy those gifts? When are you going to wrap those gifts? When are you going to mail the gifts that have to be mailed? If you're going places over Christmas, what are you going to cook to take with you, or what are you going to take as a gift? When are you going to buy that food and prepare that food and wrap those gifts? If you're celebrating at home, who's going to be coming over? When are you going to invite them? What are you going to ask them to bring? What do you have to do to get your house ready? All of those things would have to be listed out very specifically in order for you to know what you have to do to be organized for Christmas, if that's your goal. And then as you go through that list and cross them off, that's when you celebrate, because each of those tasks that you cross off your list is getting you more organized and closer to your goal. It's exactly the same if your goal is wanting to start a business, tidy your garage, sort your house, remodel your basement. You need to list all of those tasks that have to be completed so that you know when you've completed all the tasks on your list that you have hit your goal. And you need to reward yourself after each task. I like to list out everything, big things and even teeny tiny little things, because on those days when you're not feeling motivated, you can force yourself just to do one of those tiny tasks on your list. And often you'll find that will provide the motivation to do something bigger that you've got on your list. So whether your goal is project-based and harder to track, or an easy to track goal like weight loss or a fitness goal or a savings goal, you've got to track your progress somewhere very visible. And then you need to cross off the tasks or your progress to goal every day. You need to track progress every day. Because when you see how much you've done or how much progress you've made, it will motivate you to do more. So what I want you to do right now is stop the video, and I want you to write your goal very specifically. If you just said, I want to be more organized, I want you to define exactly what that means for you. If your goal is to be more organized for Christmas, write down everything that means. And if you have an easy to track goal like weight loss or a fitness goal, I want you to write down specifically what you want to achieve and create some way to track that. And when you've done that, come back to the video. Okay, so you now know that your goal is specific and measurable, so the next step is to make sure that it is achievable. This is where the reward and the celebration part comes in. You must be able to see progress, or otherwise you're going to find it difficult to stay motivated. The first challenge that I did at the gym was to lose 5% body fat, but they only measured my body fat every 2 weeks. So in between, I had no idea if I was making progress or not, and that to me didn't motivate me. And so I need to see consistent progress. There's going to be times where you're not going to see that consistent progress. And so you need to be able to celebrate the other things that are coming as a byproduct of your goal. So for example, I didn't hit my 5% body fat goal, but I could lift heavier, I could plank longer, I could do more push-ups, I could run faster. Those were the things that came as a byproduct of aiming for my goal. So if you aren't where you want to be with your goal, are you feeling more focused? Are you getting more done each day? Are you feeling less tired? Have you completed a few things on your list? Are you learning more about yourself and the goal setting progress? Those are small victories that come as part of setting a goal. And even if you aren't quite on target, if you're not where you want to be, you need to still celebrate those wins. So if you're, organizing a part of your house and you've got one small area cleaned, celebrate by, say, buying cute storage boxes to store all the stuff that you've organized. Or if you've hit a fitness goal, even if it's not quite where you want to be, can you celebrate by getting your nails done or something like that? And if you've completed a big amount of things on your project list, can you celebrate by going out for drinks or appetizers or something like that? And my favorite celebration, go to bed an hour earlier. I just read this in a book and it's just so true. When you go to bed an hour earlier, you feel amazing the next day when you wake up, and then that gives you more energy to be able to work through all those things on your goals. So that's my new celebration right now. And if you're really struggling for ways to reward yourself, go back to the list of whys that you created for why you want to hit your goal. How can your rewards reinforce your why? Can you buy yourself new workout equipment when you hit a workout goal? Can you get a new, some new clothes when you hit a weight loss goal? Could you get cute new kitchen utensils if you've cleaned up your kitchen? Or maybe matching hangers if you've tidied your closet. It's little things like that that really reward you for the progress you've made. Because if you wait to the end to celebrate, you may never get to the end. You may never hit your goal because you've given up and you've not enjoyed the process. Because remember, you're going to be setting goals throughout your life, so you have to enjoy this process. And then if you really are struggling to achieve your goal, cut your goal in half or double your timeline. This is not quitting. For example, if I figured that I wasn't going to be able to hit my 15-pound weight loss goal, if I cut my weight loss goal to 7.5 pounds, if I halve my goal, then at the end of the challenge, if I've hit that 7.5 pound goal, I'm going to feel great and I'm going to be motivated to carry on with those healthy habits until I eventually hit my 15-pound goal. Whereas if I say I didn't hit 15-pound goal, I'm a failure and I just quit, before I know it, knowing me, I'll probably have gained that weight back and I'll be right back to the start. If you set that project-based goal, about like starting a business, remodeling your basement, organizing your house, and you realize that task was just too big to accomplish in 6 weeks, especially over the holiday, just extend your timeline. As long as you're still working through all the list of things that you have on your project list, you just keep going through that and eventually you will hit your goal. It may not be 6 weeks, it may not be 12 weeks, but if you just quit, before you know it, your house is going to be in chaos again and your garage is going to be a mess and you'll have achieved nothing. So extend your timeline and push through until you complete your project. Or if it's a fitness or weight loss or savings goal, cut it in half so that you'll be motivated to carry on even if you don't hit your original goal in that first 6 weeks. Because I want you to learn the skill of finishing, because that is vital to becoming someone who achieves everything that they want in their life. So we've covered specific, we've covered measurable, we've covered achievable, and now we need to look at relevant. I presume when you set your goal that you have set a goal that's relevant to what you want to achieve in life. But if you've gone through this process and you realize that you're not actually excited about your goal, it's not something that's going to move your life forward, you can go right back to week 1 and start again with a different goal. That's the whole idea of this challenge. You tailor it to whatever you need to do that's specific to the challenges you're facing at this time in your life. If you're not excited about your goal, you need to choose something that excites you or moves your life forward. If you go back to your Think Big list, that's always a great starting point. So my first challenge, I set the wrong goal. Losing body fat didn't motivate me. I wanted to be lighter. I didn't want to be more muscular. I definitely don't need to be more muscular. So I just set a different goal. If you're trying to tidy a house that you hate, you're going to find it really difficult to get motivated. So why not set a goal of saving a deposit for a new house? That will be far more motivating. If you're trying to hit a goal at work and you hate your job, maybe you need to set the goal of finding a new job, because that will be far more motivating. So make sure that the goal that you're working on is relevant and it's moving your life forward and you can get excited about it. So in summary, your goal needs to be specific so you know when you've hit your goal. It needs to be measurable so you can track your progress to goal and stay motivated. It needs to be achievable so you can reward yourself frequently, which is going to keep you motivated. And it also needs to be relevant so that you can get excited about hitting your goal and enjoying the result when you do hit that goal. And then finally, it needs to be timely. Having the 6-week deadline creates urgency, which is very important. And if all else fails, resort to bribery. If you really are struggling with motivation, if you're struggling to get started on your goal, sometimes all the logic in the world is not enough to get you started. You just need to bribe yourself to keep going. So what do I mean by that? I love Coke Zero and I use Coke Zero as a bribe. If I have to record a video like now, I want a Coke Zero, but I won't let myself have one until I've recorded the video or until I've made the calls or whatever it is that I need to do. And then my reward is a Coke Zero, because it doesn't affect my weight loss goal. Another way that I like to bribe myself is I love listening to podcasts and audiobooks, but I only listen to those either when I'm working out or when I'm on my way to the gym. And walking my dog is something else I enjoy. So I only do that when I have achieved something. I don't allow myself to do that, instead of doing something that moves my business forward. One of the greatest rewards that you can use is your phone. Don't scroll through your phone randomly. Don't use it as a distraction. I try to stay off my phone as much as possible during the day so that in the evenings I can scroll through my phone and I feel like it's a really big reward for having done what I needed to do during the day. Same thing goes for TV. Don't have the TV on all day. Focus on what you need to get done. And then in the evenings when you sit down to watch TV, it feels like a reward for having had a great day and achieved a lot. And if you're someone who likes to drink, there's nothing better than sitting down in the evening, knowing you've had a super disciplined, super productive day and enjoying a glass of wine or whatever you like to drink. So use those things as rewards. Don't just, use them throughout the day. And if possible, make your rewards positive and goal reinforcing. And don't forget, keep visualizing hitting that goal, because that's what's going to motivate you. When you're in the car, when you've got quiet time, when just keep visualizing what it's going to be like to hit your goal. Because you've got to do whatever you can to enjoy the process of hitting your goal. This is a very long video, but it is so important, because to create a full and interesting life, you must continually push yourself to do new things, learn new skills, and work towards achieving all those things you put on your Think Big list. So setting goals, it's going to be something you do for the rest of your life. So you have to learn to enjoy the process. So if you want to dig a little deeper into creating long-term results by delaying gratification and using rewards, I will see you in the next video.